G'day guys, we're back again today. So in the last episode, if you saw that one, we were finishing the new clutch. So now I'm doing the CV. We're going to show you how to do that one this time as well, in case you want to know.
To do this job, basic arrangement of tools, it'll be a little bit different for each car, but it'll be fairly similar. You want a jack stand to make it safe, and some very sketchy lifting blocks that aren't even. You want some stuff on the bottom. Next along is you want a hammer, preferably a dead blade hammer. Soft end one, assortment of flat blades and pry bars, just whatever works for your arrangement. 19mm spanner, that was for the upper control arm castle nut. Got a 12mm, that was for the brake line bracket. 17mm, that was for the caliper bolts and the sway bar link end. 21mm for the wheel nuts, and 35mm was the big CV nut. Some pliers and some cutters, that was for doing the CV boots and cutting them off and pulling the split pins out with that one. And impact makes things a lot faster. It would also make things a lot easier with a vise if you had it, but if not, you do the old dodgy screwdriver method. And then just a lot of rags and some brake cleaner for the cleanup. Sometimes they're super easy, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, sometimes they just don't want to play the game. Yeah. And tools start getting thrown. When you're releasing any tapered joint that goes into there, like a tie rod or upper control arm, they usually bind up over time, so you need to hit that to give it a shock, and that will usually bounce out. If they're really difficult, you can put another hammer on one side and hit it, and it'll sort of shock it out better. Just take the sway bar link off, create a bit more flex in this arm. I'm just going to take the brake line attachment off so I can flex the hub back without causing stress on it. Put the bolt back in so I don't lose anything. Sort of thing with the ball joint, sometimes the CV, because they're on a spline, it just gets rust and sort of bonds together. So sometimes just leave the nut just even with the end of the thread so you don't nail the thread over. It's also a good idea to get a soft blow hammer so you don't damage the threads even if you do miss or don't have the nut far enough. I thought with taking this bracket off I'd have enough flex to get the CV out, but it's not going to without stressing the brake line. So I just take caliper off. I didn't want to, only because I'm lazy, but it's only 2 more bolts and don't risk breaking anything, so I'll just do that. Just zip tie the caliper up, so you can rest it up there, but if it falls off then you'll break something and then it won't be a quick 20-minute job. Should look something like this after you've done all that. I'm going to grab the hub and give it a wiggle while pushing the CV back, and then just pop the CV out the side, like so. What you need to do now is the CV, where it goes in, on the end of the spline it's got a little circlip that clips in, so you need to get a couple pry bars behind it to pop. The C-clip will go in and then it will pop out. Oops. So that's the circlip I was talking about in there. When it goes in it compresses, fits through the spline and pops back out to hold it in place. If you have trouble getting these off, if you're prying it, and because it can slide a bit on the spline, if you're prying it, you're just using like a big spring. What you want to do is like get a pry bar or someone else to hold it push it all the way out so that clips right up as hard as it can go. Then get something in there, like a big chisel and a hammer, and give it a tap, and it should pop straight out. But if you're just hitting it with no pressure, it'll just bounce like a spring all day. So you want to pry it out as far as you can, and put something in one of those ridges and just give it a crack, and it'll pop straight out. Take the old boot off now. Not going to reuse these clamps, comes with new ones, so I can just cut them if I'm strong enough. If I was a pair of pliers, I could be covered in any oil. Just taking the bearings off here to make the new boot easy to slip on, because we don't have a tool to slip it on. You always check you got the same pattern, because sometimes they send you the wrong one. This is the fun part. We're going to try to slip it over first. Sometimes if you can't, there's a ring here, you knock that off, then you punch this collar off, and then you can slide the boot on. But it takes a long time. I'm just going to try and get it over by slipping it over first of all. I don't want to break this boot. It's not the preferred installation method, but when you don't have a vise, that's what you got to do. Just when you do that, I have stabbed through boots before, and then you're back at square one, so just be very careful. Just cleaning these up, cleaning the old gross stuff off. Now the fun part. So when you put the hat back on, you want to make sure these are all lined up, or else you're going to have a difficult time. 3 grooves. That should give it a little wiggle. Sometimes it can be a bit of a pain. There we go. Way up. That's just popping the circlet back in. Sometimes you can just get the CV and pop it, but if you go pull back too far, you can rip the boot off sometimes. Just the same thing, take all the pressure out of it and just tap it in. Double cup and I'm pulled up. Niggas hating like hold up. What's the problem? I'm pulled up. Big flex, my swole up. Hard body, they fold up. Shorty say I done glowed up. Double text on my phone up. Baby girl love my bop and I like me too. No roof on my top and my baby see through. Yas, queen.
Rightio, there you have it. That's how you do the CV on the Hilux. So most 4-drive utes are probably going to be pretty similar. And at the start I did mention that I was giving Nathan a hand, but my version of giving a hand is just filming while he does the entire job. So that's going to do it for today. Thanks for heaps for watching. If you made it this far, we really appreciate it, and we'd love for you to give us a subscribe and a like on the video. It really helps us reach more people and keep making videos. So that's going to be all for today. We'll see you in the next one. Don't stop, shit ain't gon' feed you. I've been all on my grind, so why I need you. Baby girl love my vibe and I like me too. No roof on my top and my babe see through.
Waiting on the pimp, don't stop, shit ain't gon' feed you. I been all on my grind, so why I need you? Big flex, my swole up, double cup and I'm pulled up. Niggas hating like